Good everyone, I'm going to do this video today. It's a review on the B17B Bomber. Now, thankfully, this is not the American B-17, otherwise I would be having a heart attack. And it certainly doesn't fly like the American B-17. So the B-17B is a Swedish dive bomber, and well, it's got a pretty unique characteristic which I never really used. Its landing gear can be used as a sort of air brake. Now, that doesn't work above around about 260 miles an hour, but at lower speeds it can come in handy. So the best way to describe this aircraft would be a Swedish Stuka. It's got a bomb load very similar to a Stuka. It's got the offensive armament very similar to a Stuka, and the rear gun very similar to a Stuka. But the thing is about the B-17 is that it's packing a bit of armor protection, which the Stuka does pack, but not as good for protecting the gunnery crew and stuff like that. So the pilot gets a 10mm plate, the gunner gets a 10mm plate. Obviously, he gets his 8mm machine gun to block any bullets because, well, same as in the B3C, he appears to have Jedi mind control. So in terms of armament and obviously offensive or defensive armament, air targets in the 8mm offensive guns, armored targets or APT, which I'm going to put in there actually, in the defensive 8mm. Now in terms of bomb loads, you may notice a bit of a weird one. It's because there's duplicates. Stock bomb load, 950 kilo bombs, 4 on the wings, 5 in the bomb bay. One 120 kilo bomb, or 450s and one 120. And obviously this is another 120, and this is another of that payload. So these two are duplicates. Do not worry about these. These are exactly the same as these two. So yeah, this bomb load is your best one, and well, it's not going to kill a base, but it's good enough for what you're going to get in terms of ground targets. Personally, if you're going to go for attacking convoys, I'd recommend the 950s over this bomb load. Now, you do get a bomb sight, but, I mean, it's usable, but, I mean, I would personally dive in, get your ground targets, and get out, because this thing's actually pretty speedy. However, I chose not to, and I'm sort of glad I didn't. Let's just say that. So let's go into the result, or the stats, shall we say. 1 death, which was on an I-15. I fucking hate Smurfers. 3 air kills, 12 ground targets. It only took 2 battles to spade it, and we won both battles, but it was just a shame that a Smurfer had to ruin my fun in this thing. But it's always a Smurfer, isn't it? So, let's see what the Swedish Stuka can do. I'm calling it the Swedish Stuka. I don't care if people think, is this the B or the A? This is the problem, because, well, it's the B. This is the problem, like, because there's so many, like, because they're pretty much exactly the same. I'm there like, is it that one or is it that one? And, well, I had to quickly check. But let me tell you, this thing was a lot of fun. I really do admit this was a lot of fun. I will say this though, I've been using, as I said before, I've been using the pyramid ski to grind a tech tree, and well, it's really good. I'll show at the end of this battle, well, at the end of this video, what I'm up to so far in terms of the tech tree. So, BE-17B, I believe this was my first, no, was it my first flight or my second? I think it was my first? No, it was my first flight. And I was thinking, okay, well, let's see what this thing could do. I'm eager to give this thing a try. And, well, we have a subscriber in this battle, Idiotin, one of my subs. His name's Philip B in the comments. Nice guy, always comments on videos and stuff like that. And, well, he is in his B-17. Thankfully, not the American one, because, well, the American one, I mean, I got the B-17EL done. Fuck me. Yes, Idiotin's just spawning in. He's obviously going to notice me in chat or in the battle and all that. And, well, we have 6 bombers on our team. I don't know if that's a bug because of this patch. He puts in chat B-17 gang. And I put in chat, yep, 6 bombers we have, but I think it's a bug because of this new patch. So I'm just flying to my target, and he puts in chat, "Oh look, it's Joe again." But it's a nice plane, this is. So if you open the bomb bay, you get obviously 4 in the wings, 5 in the bomb bay, as I said, and it's a bloody good bomber. It gets a job, and obviously in a Stuka you'd have to go on the deck and do this, but not in this. So I start dropping the bombs. Now the replay's been a bit buggy. It seems to show me dropping them in different areas, but don't worry about that. So at this point, Idiotin's diving in, and he's getting attacked by a BA-65. And he gets a kill on a, I think it was a Brenner 88 who J'd out. That's always nice, though, mate. Gets you a nice good bit of points. I get 1 ground target. I think I get a few more. But at this point, I decided to test what the 8mm machine guns on this thing could do against that BA-65, and well, as you can probably tell, a good amount. First kill. So I got a 2nd ground target, which I think was an armored car. Yeah, armored car. And oh my god, I had a lot of fun spading both B-17s. Let me tell you, the Americans are jealous of this thing. Now there was a bit of a weird bug with that sun-beaten guy over there. I think he was actually, well, I think according to the replay, he's actually lagged out. However, he seemed to have been flying his plane fine when I closed in for an attack. It's weird. This patch has been very weird at the moment. It's been a good patch, but it's just being very weird. I'm just going to skip ahead because I'm not going to catch this guy, am I? I mean, this thing's got reasonable speed, having a Bristol Mercury engine. But it's not going to win any races anytime soon. So I start laying on the paint. Obviously, I'm diving in and I spot the Brenner 88 at this point. Well, another Brenner 88. I pull up into the vertical, and this thing does actually have good energy retention. So I loop it over, and the Brenner 88, I think he knew what was coming here. I gave him a good smack. I set him on fire, I believe. Well, no, I think that's the tail gunner that does that. Yes, it is. And there we go. But unfortunately, some retard in an I-15 takes the kill. I saw that guy quite a few times, and that was the guy who actually killed me in this aircraft in the next game I had. He was on the enemy team. At least I think it was him. I'll have to check. But I believe it was him. Let me just have a quick look. Oh no, I'm having replay file issues again. For some reason, ever since this patch downloaded, I've been unable to look at many players' stat cards. But there goes my 2nd kill, so I wasn't all that fast. But it would appear that there's a lot of players going out smurfing, stat padding against the Swedish planes, especially the biplanes. Just to obviously farm and pad their stats and stuff like that. There's a lot of that going on at the moment. So if you are grinding Sweden, just keep your eyes open. So at this point, I come in for a nice angle attack against all these load of howitzers. And I start laying on pain. Now the rear gunner doesn't have very good looking of down on targets, like it can't look down very well. So you've got to take that into account. But for the most part, this thing can do well against ground targets for its 8mm, it's good bomb loads, and it can tank AAA pretty dang well. And you can just see what this thing could do in the right hands. You've seen it as a fighter, you've seen it as an interceptor on that BA-65. It's really good. I have to say this, the Swedish texture was definitely worth my 17 quid. So at this point I pull up for this HE-51. This was a bit of a risk. What I didn't know at the time, this guy had a basic boner for me. So at that point I stall, I did score some good damage into him. And while I start obviously going into defensive and start to try and at least get this guy off me, he decides to target me, obviously seeing a brand new Swedish plane. But the rear gunner sets him on fire, and that's going to be my 3rd and final kill in terms of air targets. Thought I jammed my gun there, so I just made sure, but I didn't. And there goes that HG51 for my third and final kill. But at this point, I'm completely out of ammunition, so I start making my way back towards the base. Bit of a long flight, because obviously this thing's not the fastest when stock. Upgraded, it's a bit better, but I love this thing. This is a good bird. It honestly is. Works decently as a fighter. Works decently as a ground attacker. It does everything I need it to. Landing. Not very interesting. However, the landing gear is obviously, as I said, very usable as an air brake. So realistically, you could land with just the landing gear if you crank the throttle back. Very easy aircraft to land, and it's probably one of the nicest aircraft to fly as well. Those B-3Cs have spent their entire game bombing bases, so they've not done all that much. Our last remaining fighter on our team has just been shot down by a 109B, which was the guy who was obviously, for some reason, acting weird in the replay and obviously in the game as well. But don't worry, I don't need to engage him. That Key 10's already dead. He's been sat here for a good few minutes. He's just enjoying life, being part of the squirrels, I guess. I don't blame him because, well, we have that many squirrels where I live. It's unbelievable. So obviously, the 109B appeared to be targeting... Well, it looked like he was going to go for me at first. And I wasn't too sure what this guy was doing. I think he was looking for the B3Cs. But if he could maybe try and find me and engage me before I could kill all of his ground targets. And obviously, I was keeping a sharp eye on him. I was looking back constantly, making sure he wasn't going to dive on me. Because obviously, if a 109B attacks me from altitude with an engine advantage, I'm pretty much boned because, well, it's a dive bomber. It's not as fast as a 109B, even though the 109B is not the fastest aircraft anyway. I'm pretty much boned. But luckily for me, the B3Cs are going to bomb out some bases. I'm going to hit some ground targets, and that's going to get us the win. I decided to use the bomb site because obviously I didn't trust the dive bombing. I was going to go and try and get that Key 10's assist, but I didn't need it. At least I thought I didn't need it because I was half a mod off Spade in this thing after this game. But that is the end of the battle. Another few amount of ground targets, 3 air kills, 12 ground targets, 1 assist. This thing really did its job. Like I said, the B17B is a great dive bomber. It's going to be very well used in ground forces. But don't worry, the B18A, once you get to 2.0 Swedish tanks, obviously once they come around, let me tell you, that thing's going to be used by me. But anyway, I'll get off and I'll let you guys off and everything. I need to rest my voice. And I'll catch you all on the next one.